There is a quiet, almost invisible way that some people move through life, always standing just slightly outside of joy. Not because joy hasn't arrived, but because somewhere deep inside, they do not fully trust it. Happiness shows up at the door, and instead of letting it in, they peek through the curtain, waiting for it to leave. If you have ever found yourself bracing for something to go wrong in the middle of a good moment, or feeling strangely uncomfortable when life is going well, this might be the most important thing you ever hear about yourself, and it has a name. It is called the fear of happiness, or in psychological terms, cherophobia, and it is far more common than most people realize. Understanding why you avoid happiness is not about diagnosing something broken in you. It is about gently pulling back the layers of a deeply human, deeply protective response, one that likely began long before you were old enough to name it. Because somewhere along the way, you learned something painful, that happiness does not stay, that every peak is followed by a fall, that the moment you exhale and allow yourself to feel good, life finds a way to take it back. And so, in one of the most creative acts of self-protection the mind is capable of, you started doing the taking first. This is not irrational. It is, in its own complicated way, intelligent. The human brain is wired for survival, not contentment. When you have experienced loss, trauma, disappointment, or emotional instability, especially in childhood, your nervous system becomes highly attuned to threat. It begins to associate moments of happiness with the danger that follows them. If your happiest childhood memories were also followed by disruption, conflict, or loss, your brain quietly connected those dots. It learned that joy is a setup. That feeling good is just the calm before a storm you cannot see yet. And so it started pulling you out of happiness before happiness could pull the rug out from under you. Think about what this looks like in everyday life. Maybe you get a promotion, and instead of celebrating, you immediately start worrying about failing to meet the new expectations. Maybe you fall in love, and the happier you feel, the more anxious you become, scanning for signs that it will end, rehearsing the heartbreak before it has even happened. Maybe something wonderful happens, and you feel the urge to knock on wood, to say it out loud only in a whisper, as if declaring your happiness too boldly will somehow summon its end. These are not quirks. They are your nervous system doing exactly what it was trained to do, protect you by staying one step ahead of the pain. There is also something else happening beneath the surface that is worth sitting with. For many people, happiness feels not just temporary, but undeserved. There is a quiet but persistent belief that good things are not meant to last for them specifically, that other people get to have enduring joy, but they are the exception. This belief often takes root in early experiences of conditional love, where affection or approval was given and then withdrawn based on performance, behavior, or circumstances outside of a child's control. When love feels unpredictable, safety feels unpredictable. And when safety feels unpredictable, joy becomes a liability rather than a gift. This is why some people unconsciously self-sabotage at the threshold of something good. A relationship starts to feel genuinely beautiful, and suddenly they pick a fight, pull away, or find a reason to doubt it. A creative project is going well, and suddenly they stop working on it. A period of calm descends, and they fill it with manufactured chaos, because calm itself has never felt safe. It has only ever felt like the silence before something breaks. It is not that they want to destroy good things. It is that their entire internal system is allergic to the vulnerability that happiness requires. Because here is the truth that sits at the very core of this pattern. Happiness is vulnerable. To be happy is to have something to lose. And for someone whose history has been defined by loss, that is not a small thing. Allowing yourself to be fully, openly happy means admitting that something matters to you. It means your heart is exposed. It means you could be hurt. And so the psyche does what it always does when it perceives danger. It contracts, it withholds. It keeps one foot out of the room, always ready to leave before it gets left. The cost of this, though, is enormous. When you spend your life bracing against happiness, you do not actually avoid pain. You simply trade the sharp, acute pain of loss for the slow, grinding ache of never fully living. You become a visitor in your own joy, never quite settling in, never quite letting yourself belong to the good things that arrive. Relationships suffer because your partners can feel your emotional distance, your readiness to leave, your inability to trust the warmth between you. Your inner life suffers because a mind that cannot rest in happiness is a mind in a constant state of low-grade grief, mourning things it never allowed itself to have. And perhaps most quietly devastating of all, you begin to lose the ability to be present, because the only place happiness actually exists is in the present moment. It does not live in the future, where you are bracing for its end. It does not live in the past, where you are cataloging all the times it disappeared. It lives here, now, in this breath, in this moment, in whatever small or enormous good thing is happening right now. And when your mind is always in a defensive crouch, the present is the one place you can never quite get to. So what does healing look like? It begins, as so much healing does, with awareness. With the ability to catch yourself in the act of bracing, of shrinking, of preparing for the end before the beginning has even fully arrived. It begins with asking yourself a gentle but honest question. Am I experiencing this moment, or am I already grieving it? That question alone can create a pause, a small but significant gap between the automatic response and a new, more conscious one. Healing also means slowly, carefully teaching your nervous system something it was never given the chance to learn, that it can survive happiness. That joy does not have to be a threat, that you can hold something good without immediately calculating how you will cope when it is gone. This is not about pretending happiness lasts forever. It doesn't. Everything is temporary, pain and joy alike. But there is a profound difference between intellectually knowing something is temporary and using its temporariness as a reason to never fully experience it. A sunset is temporary. That does not make it any less worth watching. Therapy, particularly somatic approaches, inner child work, and attachment-focused modalities, can be deeply transformative for this pattern. But even outside of a therapeutic setting, there are practices that begin to shift things. Mindfulness teaches you to inhabit the present rather than escape it. Gratitude practices, done with genuine attention rather than forced positivity, help retrain the brain to register and stay with what is good. And perhaps most powerfully, allowing yourself to name your happiness out loud, to say, I am happy right now without immediately whispering, but for how long, is a radical act of self-trust. You deserve to live inside your own life, not watch it from a safe distance. You deserve to let good things land, to let love settle in, to let joy take up space without making it earn its stay. The happiness you have been keeping at arm's length is not the enemy. It is not the setup. It is just life, offering itself to you the way it has always been trying to. And you, with all your history, all your wisdom, all your hard-earned wariness, you are allowed to reach back. You are allowed to stay, not because happiness will last forever, but because right now it is here. And so are you. That is enough. That has always been enough.